Tiger, obviously you're a 7-time winner here, but we haven't seen you in 12 weeks. Thought I'd give you a chance to give us a little bit of an update on your game, injuries, and coming back out this week.
Yeah, I'm good to go. Doctors gave me the clearance to go, so here I am. Started back practicing a couple weeks ago, which was nice. I was close to playing, last week, but again, Doc's advised that maybe probably want to take another week of training and really start pushing it pretty hard. So I did, and I feel good now. So it was the right thing to do, and here I am.
Okay. If you raise your hand, we have mics for Larry.
Tiger, how much rust did you feel this morning when you went around for 9? And what are you anticipating in terms of progress this week?
Actually, I didn't feel any. It's Tuesday. I still haven't been in a competitive environment yet, so that's a totally different atmosphere, as you know. But the shots felt very crisp, very clean. I was very pleased. My start lines were good. They were nice and tight, which was good. So everything that we've been working on, we're very pleased with today, and just got to keep working at it. And tomorrow's another day to refine it and be ready to go by Thursday.
Tiger, I don't know if you're claiming 14 and a half major wins. Maybe after Darren's victory, you said you were a great help to him, texting him. Just your reflections on that week, and perhaps you could reveal maybe something of what you said to him.
It's between Darren and I, but he's always been a great friend to me, and we've been great friends for a long time, going back to when we both worked with Butch, a long time ago. So it was great to see Darren play well. He's gone through a lot in his life, and to see him, I think he's 42 now, to win an Open championship and the one that he covets the most. That's very special to him, and the way he did it too was very impressive. He went on, played well, and really put on the boys, on Sunday, which was good to see.
Steve.
You might be playing with him this week. Thoughts on that?
That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. I thought normally the pairings come out today. So normally. So are we playing twosomes or threesomes?
Twosomes.
Twosomes? So perfect.
Steve.
Tiger, maybe it's tough to answer this. What are the expectations this week, given the layoff? And part two, unrelated, are you on any type of ball count or anything in terms of how many hacks in the cages you can take before you go?
And same as always, hasn't changed. Expectation level.
Bernie.
Tiger, how frustrating and sort of disappointing has it been to be? How frustrating has it been to be sort of sitting at home for 12 weeks, knowing you can't sort of go anywhere, you can't play golf?
It's unfortunately I've been there before. I've had injuries before in the past, and I've been in similar circumstances where I couldn't play golf. Just had to continue training, and slowly build up to it. And it's really not too hard when I really can't play golf at all. That's not so bad. It gets a little more difficult when you get on that cusp when you said they start saying, "Oh, well, you're pretty close to getting going." I said, "Well, I feel really good." So that's when it becomes a little more difficult. Is when you're itching to go and you're borderline whether you should go or not. So that's where where I've learned my lesson from the past and not come back too early.
Jeff.
Can you run us through how your leg feels when you're hitting a golf ball, whether it's 100% and so forth? And do you have concerns moving forward at all with the left leg?
The great thing is I don't feel a thing. It feels solid. It feels stable. No pain. So as I said, that's one of the reasons why I took as long as I did to come back. Is that I want to get to this point where I can go ahead and start playing golf again like this. It's been a very long time, and it feels good to be able to go out there today and hit balls like this, go practice and feel nothing, and walk around and pretty much do anything I want on the golf course.
Luke.
Tiger, Luke Elvey from Network 10 Australia. Just a couple of quick questions. We were delighted to hear that you've signed up for the Australian Open on Monday. Do you have a real affinity for playing golf in Australia?
I've always loved it. You know, I've went down there in '96. Was my first time there. Was right there in Sydney as well. I think it was the Australian club, and you know, I had a great time. I think Norman won that year, so it was an eye-opening experience. You know, to play in Norman's home country like that when he was really playing well at the time, and. You know, as everyone all knows, I love playing down the Sandbelt courses down in Melbourne. So we got the President's Cup there as well. So I've always had a good time there. I've vacationed there before, up in Lizard Island. So it's one of the places I love going.
And there's quite some names on that trophy. Gary Player's won it a record 7 times. Nicholas 6, Norman 5, Palmer's on there. I dare say to be a trophy you'd love to get your name on.
I would love to. I mean, if you look at the history of that tournament and the champions list it's pretty remarkable, really. You know, the Australian Open was one of the biggest events in the world, very close to some of the major championships. So it certainly has a ton of history, and you know, this year we got just an amazing field, and I'm looking forward to it.
Tiger, can you tell me about playing at Atlanta Athletic Club yesterday, and what are your memories of the 2001 PGA?
Well, it's certainly way different than when we played in '01. It's way longer. You know, it's where David Toms hold it there, and with the technology in the ball, then versus now. I mean, yesterday we played a center pin from the back tee, and it was 265. So not too many par threes you play at 265. So it's going to be a very trying test. I think there's if they play it all the way back from the markers, it's 7 par 4s over 450. So it's going to be a pretty long test. But granted, it's going to be hot. So the ball is moving, it's flying. Yesterday the fairways were dry. It hadn't got a lot of rain, but obviously that could change. But with it being so hot, the ball was flying. So drive the ball in the fairway, you're probably a club longer just because of the heat. But still, it's much longer than what we played it in '01. If you drive the ball in the rough, you can't get to the greens. It's Bermuda, and it's high enough where it's going to sit down. It's just that thicky Bermuda where it's just thin enough where the ball just doesn't sit up. It sits down every time. So you're not going to get that kind of lie.
I apologize if I've lost track of this, but you hurt your right Achilles jogging?
Yes.
'07, I want to say, summer '07?
End of '08.
End of '08. The left Achilles, how did you hurt that?
Playing golf.
Just playing golf,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And secondly, when you talk about that having to be patient when you start to feel the itch to play again, how long have you felt that itch?
Probably in the last probably 3 or 4 weeks.
Did you finish with a tournament?
No, I was just chipping and putting. That was fine. I was able to do that for a long time. But it's when are you allowed to start hitting fuller shots, work your way through the bag, start creating shots, hitting different trajectories, different shapes, then ultimately driver and doing the same thing, and then go out and playing holes. So that process takes a little bit. So that's when I was kind of, a few weeks ago, I've chipped and putted for a while. Can I hit something more than a chip and a putt? But then as I started feeling, the legs started feeling explosive again. It had the strength. It's explosive again. So that's when I was cleared to go.
At what point did you cut loose on a driver?
A few weeks ago. 2-3 weeks ago, somewhere in there.
Tiger, Obi, sorry mate.
Yeah.
Just take it quickly back down under. You mentioned the President's Cup. You're obviously expecting to be picked then if you're fit.
I was hoping to play my way on the team.
Oh, yeah. Hope so.
I was kind of hoping that way,
Yeah.
It's Freddie is just a great captain to play for, and we had a great time at Harding Park, last time, and we had a great team, and it'll be a lot of fun. As of right now, obviously I'm not on the team, and hopefully I can play my way onto it, and so he doesn't have to use a pick on me.
So have you not got a guarantee or anything like that? And can you just put into words what your feelings are towards the President's Cup as opposed to a Ryder Cup?
Well, no, there's no guarantee. Obviously, there's no guarantees in that stuff. But as far as the differences, you know, I think it's just history, you know, and also primarily, you know, when we play the Europeans, you know, over the years, they don't play our tour full time. You know, most of the players who are playing on the President's Cup team from the international side, I think either 11 out of the 12 or 12 of the 12 are members of our tour. So we see them on, you know, a weekly basis. European side is a little different. And then I think the biggest change is the format. Everybody has to play every day. No one sits out or any days. So that's probably the biggest thing. There's so many more points, so many more matches, more volatility because of it. And you know, you can get yourself behind, but you can come back, and you can get yourself ahead and lose it pretty quickly as well. It's very hard to make up points in the Ryder Cup because of you know, less matches.
Bob?
Tiger, when you first disclosed this injury after the Masters, I think you said it was minor, or you know, it was put out that it was minor. Did you think that that was the case, or were you told that it was minor and it just turned out to be worse? Or
No, it was minor, but I came back and I played the players. You know, if I would have, you know, sat out probably another maybe a week or two, and then I would have been playing, you know, throughout this stretch. But you know, the players is a big tournament, and I wanted to come back and play in it, and probably shouldn't.
You clearly made it worse, or
Absolutely.
aggravated
I
there.
you know, I was back to where I was good to go, and then put myself back again.
Dave?
Yeah, Tiger, two things. First of all, I know when you're hitting on all cylinders, you have 9 different shots.
Mm-hmm.
How many shots can you come up with this week on the little bit of preparation that you've had?
You know, I've been practicing all of them, so that's the thing. You know, now it's just a matter of, you know, the pin locations, distances, shape, you know, lie, and all that stuff, determining where, what shot I'm going to play. But, you know, I've been really working on trying to feel comfortable hitting the ball, you know, both ways, and not favor one or the other, but be comfortable hitting it both ways. But, you know, primarily I feel of late been hitting it more solidly and more flush than I have in the past. And I think that's some of the things that Sean and I have been working on are starting to click now. And I'm starting to really understand what he's trying to get me to do. I had it at the Players on the practice range, was the best I'd hit it in a long, long time. And then I got hurt. And so I go, okay, now we got to go, you know, lay off, and then I got to come back and build up to that point again. So we've had some good practice sessions of late, and it's got it teed up on Thursday.
Secondly, you've played golf a long time, nearly all your life. And I'm wondering, you know, anybody does something for a long time, it can get stale from time to time. I think that's human nature. Just wondering, what about golf still excites you? What gets you motivated? Is it the competition? Is it hitting good shots? You know, what gets you excited?
Trying to beat these boys. That's fun. That's fun. Getting out there and trying to win golf tournaments. Being there with a chance to win, whether you win or fail, just being there is just a rush, and it's just so much fun. And trying to pull off the shots that you've done in practice when it matters the most. See what you got. That's fun.
Marla, right up here.
I'm just wondering how long you toyed with the idea that maybe this would be the perfect place to come back. I mean, 7 wins, no cut, you know, and
Right.
and could you have gone to the Atlanta without a tournament under your belt?
Well, as I said, it was borderline whether I was going to play last week. You know, I was pretty close to being ready to go, and it's like, you know, hey, just give yourself some more days of hitting a lot of golf balls, and get your body attuned to that and conditioned to that. So I listened, you know, and listened to the docs and took another week off, and thankful I did, actually, because I feel great now.
Rex? over there on the left.
Tiger, just to follow up on that question, did you plan to play? You're talking about the Greenbrier Classic, and when did you make the decision not to play? Can you remember the time that the doctors told you?
Yeah,
that?
probably a couple days prior to the commitment, so I guess it would be Wednesday.
Edgar?
Tiger, it couldn't have been an easy decision, but could you take us through your thought process on parting ways with Stevie Williams, and what was your reaction when he said he felt like he'd wasted the last 2 years of his life?
Well, I think I felt it was time for a change. I felt that, you know, Stevie and I have had just an amazing run. I mean, Stevie's a hell of a caddy. Just There's no denying that. And he's helped my career, and I think I've helped his as well. And we've had a great partnership for 12 years, maybe a little bit more than that. Won a bunch of tournaments, but I just felt it was time to change things up a little bit, and felt very comfortable with the move. I got Brian on the bag this week, something that Brian and I go way back. We've qualified for, we won the Southern Cal Am, we won the U.S. Am, won I think at Torrey. So Brian and I are very comfortable, out there on the golf course, and I don't have a permanent caddy. Brian's just obviously just an interim, and we'll see going forward.
And when he said he felt like he'd wasted the last 2 years of his life.
Yeah, that's what he says and what he feels.
Here with Steve, over here.
Tiger, the new shoes, do they by any chance alleviate any of the pain with the Achilles?
It's they feel comfortable. The Achilles was not the shoe. It was just, obviously plenty of years of torquing on this knee, and eventually it led to that. So it was nice to try and get something that I felt comfortable in. The free technology is something I wear every day, and some of the things, some of the aspects, I love training in it, love running in it, lifting in it. So why can't I play golf in it? So eventually we got together and created this shoe. And walking out there on the golf course, it felt good to feel my foot activated. Something that I hadn't felt in a long time, and that felt very good. So the whole chain was activated. Something that I'd always felt off the golf course, but not on the golf course.
Mark, up here.
Tiger, just to follow up on, you said you don't have a permanent caddy.
Hmm.
Is there any chance Brian might be a permanent caddy?
No.
And
No.
what do you
Have you seen
look
his
for?
legs?
What do you look for in a caddy? What's important for that job for you?
Someone that obviously understands the game, can handle the pressure, of coming down the stretch on the back nine. Someone that who probably has been there before, and who understands it and can deal with that. That's something that I had Fluff prior to Stevie. He's been there plenty of times with Peter, and obviously Stevie with Greg and Raymond. Been there plenty of times. So an experienced caddy who's been there before and understands it, knows how to handle the situation. That's something that I will definitely be looking for.
Steve.
Tiger, with all the well-chronicled trauma on your leg, is there anything you could have done differently to where you wouldn't be in this situation now? I mean, you've trained hard, you've put a lot of miles on the odometer, I guess, which was a discretionary thing, to where you might have a little more spring in your step, more pun intended. Have you done anything from a do-over standpoint there?
Mechanics probably should be a little bit better than what they've been.
Jeff?
How many caddies have applied for your bag, and what is, has your cell phone been burning up, and how long do you think the process of picking a guy will take?
How many? Out here, there's been a few. People who are not caddies out here, a ton. So yeah, we've gotten a lot of interesting ones, Yes, a lot of interesting ones. But as far as timetable, I don't have a timetable on that. Right now I'm trying to play this week with Bry, and hopefully next week as well, and maybe get myself in the playoffs.
Great.
Can we have some names?
No. Was that too fast? Ask me again.
Yeah, okay. So, thinking about the 12 years with Steve, if I remember, you said that he helped you read the big par putt at Medina in '99.
Yep.
Are there other majors or huge tournaments you've won, or any tournaments you've won, that you think you could directly link to something specific he did?
Yeah, he made a good call at 2000 at Valhalla on Sunday on number 12. Pin was back right. Bob stuffed it in there just probably what 3-4 feet from the hole, and the wind was kind of off the right, and I was all set to hit this 8-iron, and Stevie called me off the shot, and it was because the wind at the green had switched, came more in. Obviously, if you've been there before, that's the deepest bunker in the whole golf course. And the way I was going to hit that 8-iron wasn't going to get there, so he called me off of it. We reset. I hit the ball to the back of the green, made the putt, and I went on to win the tournament. So that was a big call.
Bernie?
So I guess it hasn't been fun for you sort of sitting at home these last 12 weeks, but what would you say, what's the best thing you've done in those 3 months, you think?
Be with my kids. Absolutely. That was by far the best thing.
When you look back at sort of the game at the moment, what's your sort of opinion of the game? Is, you know, anyone impressed you?
Well, obviously, you know, Rory's had a huge week there. You know, Darren played well. There've been a ton of multiple winners. I mean, new faces out here winning golf tournaments, first-time winners. So, you know, the game is probably, switching a little bit. You know, you had a ton of years there where it was going to be, you know, Phil, myself, VJ, Ernie, Goose, Jim. We were all winning, you know, probably a bunch of the tournaments in there. And, now there's 11 new guys. So, the game is changing, and it's fun to see.
If I can throw in one more question. Do you feel as though you've been missed?
I don't know. Have I?
Well, amongst your
Did
peers.
you miss me, Bernie?
Of course not.
Okay.
But I think
That's all that matters
your,
then.
Your peers have missed you because your peers are always looking to you on the leaderboard to where you are. I think they may have missed you.
Yeah,
Fans.
some of my friends have texted me over the weeks I've been off, and that's been awfully nice of them to keep me in the loop and see tell me what's going on out here and tell me to get my butt back out here. So that's been nice.
Hi, just following up on Stevie, in golfing terms, it must have been one of the more difficult things you ever done, splitting with him. Just wondered, did you tell him face to face, and how did he take it?
Yes, I did.
And how did he react when you told him?
We had a nice conversation. We did it after he completed play at AT&T National, up in the boardroom, and it was a tough conversation, but we said what we needed to say to each other face to face, and man to man.
Okay, time for just a couple more. Bob and Marla. Okay, Hannah.
With all the new faces on the tour and the new people winning, how would you say that's changed the atmosphere on the tour? Do you think there's a different kind of energy now?
I can't tell you. I've been out here.
But compared to sort of, even when you took a break
Right.
at the end of '09 and coming back sort of in general, do you think that there's kind of a different or more relaxed attitude? Or
Well, I think it's just that, the guys who were playing really well there from my generation are now in their 40s. You've had Ernie, Goose, and Phil and VJ are all 40 plus now. We were going at it for basically 15 years, 14, 15 years at it, and now they're in their 40s. Now we're starting to see guys in their 20s winning golf tournaments. So there is certainly a switch. When I first came out here, it was still the Normans and the Faldos of the world doing really well, and that was and obviously Nick Price. So that was a change in the guard then as well.
And what about the sort of influx of foreigners? Do you think that Europeans or Australians, do you think they have a different attitude towards golf?
No, I just think the game has become so global. I think that golf is just growing leaps and bounds globally. May not necessarily, it's been a flat market here in the States, but around the world it's been tremendous. To see, with the advent, I think with us being in the Olympics, I think that's going to be a huge influx of countries that haven't really taken up the game of golf or now are going to be focused on it. I know that China is just exploding over there, and I've been over there, looking at some of the junior golf academies that they have, and it's phenomenal. They all have good swings. So I mean, you extrapolate that out 15, 20 years from now, it's going to be just amazing. And it all started because we're are now in the Olympics, and it's going to be fun to see. Right now their international team, for the President's Cup, I think it's all South Africans, Koreans, and Australians. So it's fun to see.
Doug?
Remember we said a long time ago that the public and fans can overreact when things are going badly, and they can overreact when things are going well also. What should their expectations be for you going into this week and next week and however long the year lasts?
It doesn't really matter what they think. I'm here to try and win a golf tournament. That's what I'm focused on.
Just trying to get a sense of what your outlook is. I mean, you've been gone.
You know, I'm just focused, Dougie. I'm just focused on trying to win a golf tournament. That's it.
Okay, Marla, and then Bob behind you, Doug.
I'm kind of along those same lines here, but I know there's only one major left, but do you feel primed and ready to go after Jack's 18, or is that the last thing on your mind at this moment?
Well, you got to take it one at a time. You know, that's how I got to 14. It's just taking it one at a time, and trying to peak for each one. We get four chances to peak, per year, and unfortunately, I was only able to try and peak for one. So obviously, my timetable isn't very long to try and peak for the last one here, but it is what it is, and let's try and get it going.
Bob?
Tiger, you cited a couple examples where Steve helped you over the years. It would seem it might take a little while for a new guy to work up to that ability to be able to talk you out of something, get to know your game and you. So while that process is going on, do you lose something? Do you lose something there? Are you a little bit of a disadvantage for however long that takes?
Well, as a player, you make the last call, and whether it's right or wrong, we have to live with it. Obviously the caddy is there when we want information, we want their opinion, but ultimately, we have to make the last call. And, sometimes it's the right one, sometimes the wrong one. And as players, we got to live with that. And, that's the tough part about playing sometimes.
Okay, last two. Jeff and then Tom.
After the Masters, you said the diagnosis on your leg was a mild strain and mild sprain and 2-3 weeks off. After you re-aggravated at the Players, what was the diagnosis then, and was it way worse?
No, it was the same. I didn't hurt it anymore, but unfortunately, I put myself back to where I was at Augusta. And instead of just taking a few weeks off, let's just go ahead and take a while off and get this thing healed up properly. And that's what we did.
Okay, Tom.
Tiger, amidst all after a layoff and a caddy change, all the uncertainties, what are you most certain of?
I'm excited to compete, to play, and hopefully, win the golf tournament.
Doug?
When's the last time you felt this good physically?
Years. Years. Plural. Plural. Just plural. Just plural.